it's a completely different, it's still network marketing. It's a tool within our business in order to grow our network marketing business, but it's so different because it's in person.
Hey everybody, it's your host Amber here, MLM strategist and entrepreneur who has worked with thousands of network marketers and influencers and entrepreneurs in your space, helping to brand them, systemize them, and grow their downline on a global level. Creative director with AK Social House and your host of the Behind Her Boom podcast, providing you with proven, simple, and actionable steps to build your authority and your brand so you can stand out from those sideline sisters. Inspiring you with our special guest to think big and grow to 7 figures and beyond. Let's go.
And we are live. Hey, everybody. This is your host, Amber, with Behind Her Boom podcast. And I'm coming to you today with a couple, Benji and George. I'm super excited to have them on here because we do have a huge network marketing audience. And I know that a lot of you, at least a lot of you that I've spoken to, for the most part, spouses are very, very hard to trigger to get them to be on board when it comes to joining a network marketing business until they see dollar signs, and then things start to kind of shift. But I got this powerhouse couple on here, and it kind of, I was going to say, kind of brought you guys together because they're from Miami Beach, Florida. They actually started dating, and George was actually already in the network marketing space, pro ball player. She's a dancer, and they've had so many great successes separately, but then they kind of came in and she was just like, hey, we're doing network marketing, what's going on here? And now you guys are building multiple 6-figure business, helping thousands, transforming lives. You guys have like rock hard bodies. It makes people, feel really jealous. So that's their social media. They'll share that. And it's something to be very, very proud of. So thank you so much, guys, for coming on here. Introduce yourself, share a little bit of your story. And I know you shared it with me of like your back end of how you guys all met, but share a little bit with us, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us on. Really grateful for the opportunity. So I guess I'll go first. My story started kind of before, right? So I'm from Miami, Florida, 31 years young. I was a pro basketball player. I was a personal trainer. And I was really just looking for opportunity. I was an athlete. I was your typical jock. I was, big headed, ego. That was me. And it was a one-man show. Then I understood, in sports, you gotta be a team player to win. And that's something that I took into business. Is I gotta be a team player. I gotta be able to help others and really just inspire people to be better and help them be better. Right. So when I found the network marketing space, ironically, this is actually my third network marketing company. I was a part of 2 others, which ended up not working out, or just wasn't something that I was passionate about. May or may not have been the company, whatever the case is. And then I found this opportunity literally by chance. I was coming out of a dark place in my life, had a bad relationship in the past, and I was just looking for camaraderie, that same camaraderie that I had on my teams back in the day. And when I found this opportunity, literally on social media, walked down to a local nutrition shop and found this place. And I walked in the door and I just felt so welcomed by 20 strangers. I was like, what is this weird place that everybody's so happy? And they're welcoming me. I just don't get it. They must be out. This must have been put on just for me. I walk in, I check it out, and I was blown away. And the guy said, listen, this is what we do. We help the community. We help people improve their nutrition, their fitness, their overall mindset. And, we'd love for you to be a part of this. I was like, okay, well, tell me more. Found out I was strictly going to be a product user because I felt like I had been burned by network marketing twice.
Right.
And then he showed me the compensation plan. I was like, wait a sec.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? Because I'm a person, right. I was a personal trainer working 18-hour days, sleeping in the gym sometimes, and making not even a fraction of what this guy was making from his cell phone on social media and helping people in the local community. So I said, you know what? Let me give it a go. I'll put my ego aside and I'm going to learn. I'm going to see what's going on and really educate myself. And sorry, guys, if you hear any crazy noises, we have a brand new baby. So she's a little chaotic right now. She's a little jealous that she's not in here.
It's funny you just said that. I have a bearded dragon in the aquarium next to me, and it's knocking on the door, and that's all I can hear. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm going to open the door so he will just like shut up.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat.
I might open that.
There you go. You're free. Let the dog in. Let the dragon out.
Come here, mommy. A little jealous.
There you go. You can be part of it too.
Yeah. So she might interrupt us. So hopefully not.
Okay.
But anyway, so when I found that, I started learning. I got into it immediately. And he's like, listen, if you can get in the best shape of your life, help some people, be consistent, and never, you're going to make some big things happen and help a lot of people. And I took that to heart and I said, you know what? I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Made $800.
When was that, George? When did you start?
2015, right? So 2015, this is kind of like maybe 6 months to a year into when social media like Instagram really popped off.
Yeah.
There was no stories, there was no reels, there was no videos, there was simple static posts. And we were
and live Facebook Live.
right. And we were posting 9 times a day on Instagram, documenting literally like, here's my meal, here's my shake, here's this, here's that. And it was so funny, right? So but I started building that community. I started helping a lot of people. We had some local workouts in the community. And backtracking, 2012, I was a basketball player at the Florida International University. And I meet this little lady at a tailgate. That's another story for another day. I don't really remember meeting her, but I know we met that day.
That might be another podcast.
That's another podcast, right? And so we met, and I always had her number in my phone, and I followed her on Instagram that day. Fast forward, 2017, 2 years into me doing the business, we reconnect via social media. And I was like, hey, listen, you could jump on what I'm doing. You could try the products. And I was obviously interested in her as well. But I was like, you know what? She could be a client and my girlfriend. Who knows, right?
Get some commission from that.
Right, exactly. I was looking for royalties. And so I started right there. And we connected. We started dating in 2017. I had already built, I was already making, I made $800 my first 10 days in network marketing, helping, a few people on social media. Within 8 months, I was already making over $4,000 a month from my phone. And I was like, man, this is mind blowing considering I was busting my hump, 18-hour days in the gym. So now I have this freedom, I have this time, and now I can show her how to do it too. 2017, comes around. She sees what I'm doing. She said, absolutely not. I'm not interested. I don't like network marketing. I don't like the company you're a part of. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going to be an occupational therapist. That's what I'm going to do. Her head up high and looking down on the network marketing industry. That's who she was.
It was a big no for me. I mean,
she almost didn't even date me because I was in network marketing.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, my story, I said no to Herbalife for 6 years.
Right.
I said no to the company for 6 years. It was not something that I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a part of it. I wanted nothing to do with the people, the business, the opportunity. And it was just, for me, honestly, just lack of ignorance, kind of listening to other people and their experiences and just taking them on as my own. But I found myself in 2017, right before I decided to say yes, I found myself just overworked, underpaid. I was tired. Even for my physical results, I was going to the gym every single day. I used to teach dance. I used to compete in dance. And I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted, the body that I wanted. I didn't feel good. I thought you can always outwork a bad diet. Right. And, I started wanting more, right? I kept telling myself, is this it for me? I wanted more time. I wanted more freedom. I wanted more income, but I just didn't know what that vehicle was or where that was going to lead me. And then he reached out to me. I was a big no for a very long time, but I told him, I said, you know what? I'll jump on the products and I'll support you, but this is not something that I want to do. I want nothing to do with the business, but I will support you. And, I jumped on the products. I felt amazing. I lost weight. And for me.
Hold on. Backstory. Because she makes it seem like it was all peaches and cream, and it was not. Okay. So I told her, and spouse, yeah, those of you guys who are listening, who your spouse is maybe skeptical, negative, just unsure, they're not really supportive just yet. I was very clear. I knew what my future was going to be and what I was going to build within this industry and network marketing within Herbalife. So I told her, I said, listen, I know you're not interested, but if you and I have a future, you're going to show up to this event on this day at this time, and that's going to be it.
And I was just
the event that changed your life, isn't it? It's the event.
And she was there early.
But before that, when he gave me that ultimatum, it was like, for me at the moment, I was just like, why is he doing this? I work Monday through Fridays. My Saturdays are sacred. Like, why would he want me to be somewhere at 8 a.m, 7 a.m? I have to get dressed. So waking up at 6, like doing the hair, the makeup. And I was just like, in my head, I was just like rethinking. I was like, is this worth it? Is he worth it? I don't know. Long story short, like he said, I went to that event. I went to that event very upset. I was sitting all the way in the back of the room and I was just not having it. I didn't want to be there. And when I tell you I went in, but I was listening with an open mind and open heart. I mean, I was already there. Why not? And as soon as he saw me after the event, I was like in tears. I was like excited. I was happy. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm going to do this forever. And I was just like, it's just so crazy. I knew nothing about network marketing. I knew nothing about the company, and being in that room, experiencing like, and hearing everyone's testimonies, hearing all the stories, hearing what the company was about, and just seeing how global and how big it was. that was kind of like the mindset shift for me. So ever since that day, literally, I was doing this business extremely part-time. I had a full-time job. I was teaching dance on the side for extra income. I was a full-time college student. So for 9 months, I was doing this extremely part-time, but with a full-time mentality, knowing exactly what I wanted. Like he said, I wanted to do this business full-time. I wanted to own my time, to own my freedom, to be my own boss and not have to work for somebody else. And again, I never knocked down, for anyone listening, I never knocked down a 9 to 5. I feel like if you work a full-time job and it's what you love and what you're passionate about, then more power to you. That just wasn't my story. It wasn't the situation that I was in. I felt myself, like I said, just overworked and underpaid and unhappy and not wanting to go to, every morning. I don't know if you guys have ever had that feeling of like, every morning, like, can I think of one more excuse to get out of work, right? Like that was me.
I was sick last week. I can't be sick again.
I was sick yesterday, so that's not going to work. Like, just, it was always like, what else can I say to just get out of this place? I didn't want to wake up every morning just feeling so miserable and so unhappy. So for 9 months, I worked this business, like I said, part-time, and then I was able to retire myself after. I retired myself from school.
Yeah, that's a good way.
There you go, for better terms. And
yes, that's perfect.
We've been doing this business 110% full-time.
That's amazing. So I love this story because I always hear from like a one side. I get these leaders on in the network marketing space where they've come on and it's completely different. It's like I didn't have my spouse's support. Actually, my sister's was the same boat. They actually, her and her husband almost separated. She joined Monat back when it first launched in Canada and grew to 7 figures and beyond. And her husband almost like left her at one point because it was just head in the game. But your guys' story is so inspirational to whoever out there is watching, even if you've just picked up, your business in a box and just started to say yes today. And you've got your spouse kind of there in your head saying, why are you taking out something else on? You work full time, you've got kids, you've got a household, why are you doing this? Or maybe you don't need to do this, or, or you're going to fail at this, and putting all those doubts because they just, either they don't believe in it themselves or they're just thinking, you're overwhelming yourself with something else that's not necessary. But to jump on board together, like what, it's so cute to jump on, board together and to do this together. It's such a story to be heard and to be shared as true entrepreneurs and, couples in business, which I just find it makes a powerhouse couple together. And I think that's super cool to be able to share this story together. So getting to that and to the audience that we serve and that we help to impact, what would you say to somebody who's on this journey through the network marketing space and really wants to grow and scale and turn into that, make that mindset shift and whatnot, but they have that spouse or that relationship or that partner that is just not there, not giving them that level of support? How that might be George, you did it. You overcame it. You were kind of, there with Benji. So what would you say to some of our listeners?
Right. So, for me, at least, we weren't dating. Like, we had just started. So for me, it wasn't like I was in a, 10-year marriage and everything was together already. I knew I could be stern because I really had nothing to lose at the time. She was going to be the one missing out. Right. So, and no, but seriously, like, when I first started, I knew that I was heading the game. I was going to become a millionaire with this. Like, that's the plan. That was always the goal. And nothing was going to stray me off that, off that path. And if she wasn't going to support me, then I love you, but I love you from afar, and I have to stay in the game, because at the end of the day, our relationship isn't going to make me a millionaire. It's not going to better my life. It's not going to change the generational wealth for the future of my family. So I have to make the hard decisions for myself, because if not me, then who? Yeah. Right? So you really got to stand up for your beliefs and the vision that you have for yourself long-term. And if you have such a conviction in something, you have such a strong belief in something, then your partner will more than likely support you. Mm-hmm. What I've learned, and through dealing with, so many different people throughout the years, almost 8 years now in network marketing, is typically the spouse doesn't believe you or support you because you've already quit on so many other things that this is just another thing.
Right.
And
yeah.
That is more of an internal look. It's like, man, do I even deserve the belief from my spouse? Because I've tried 3 companies. I've quit everything I've ever started. I've done certain things. I can't even stay consistent on a meal plan. Now I'm going to be a coach.
Yeah.
Right.
So those types of things, you really have to build the credibility. The same way you have to build credibility and trust on social media, you have to do within your partner, because they're with you night and day. You can put up a facade and just an image of who you are on social media, but that's the glory. They don't know the story, but your spouse does. They know that you're this health coach, but you eat pizza at night. They know that you are this, you're all about makeup and whatever it is, but then you're not even using those products at home. They know the truth. So you have to play so 100% clear. Like you have to play full out and be on 24/7 because you need to build that belief and faith in your spouse for them to support you 100%.
Yeah.
And like you said, they got to show the dollars. It's got to make sense.
Yeah, they got to see that too. And I like that too, because I think it also takes it's that big mindset shift initially that you may not even believe it in yourself. You're just kind of going for it and you're watching what your upline's doing and whatnot. But as soon as you make that shift and tell yourself, no matter what anybody else thinks and what anybody else doubts me, I'm doing it for me, and have that sole purpose, like finding your why. We always, drive into that of finding your why and what that looks like. But I think a lot of people look at finding your why as so surface level of like finding your why of like, it's going to make a car payment, or it's going to, I'm going to maybe reduce my hours. Everything is just so surface level with finding your why, when truly finding your why is so much deeper than that, because reality is whether you work that business or not, you're going to put gas in the car and you're going to make your car payment, and you're going to, call in sick if you want to reduce your hours, or you'll make it happen. So how do you, dive deeper in finding out what that truly, what that why is. And then I think if you're passionate about it and you're showing that, that authenticness and from yourself, your partner's going to see that. They're going to see a whole new you. I mean, I talk to a lot of network marketers. They're completely different. Like, do you find you're a completely different person now being in this space versus if you would have just stayed doing what you're doing? And it's so weird, but it's like only network marketers know that. It's like a secret. Of that, that whole energy, like a totally different attitude, right?
Well, I feel like that's such it's just crazy, because I think back to where I started 6 years ago, and it feels like it was just yesterday, right? It feels like, but in 6 years, so much has happened. Like your mindset evolves, the person you become evolves. I was somebody that I was not friendly. I was not a friendly person. I was not a friendly face. I was not someone that was.
Was it a RBF? Professional all the time.
I was not someone that was approachable. A lot of people were just intimidated or didn't want to talk to me, or like look the other way. And this network marketing, I feel like network marketing exposes all of your weaknesses. But the great thing is that if you network marketing in it like seriously, and you really dive deep in not only like focusing on the business aspect, but focusing on yourself, I feel like it can turn all those weaknesses into your greatest strengths. Like for me, who knew I would have been talking on podcasts, or even doing events, or speaking to people, or speaking in seminars? Like that's not something that I ever thought I was going to do, because speaking was, I barely talked to people. So speaking in front of hundreds of people was not my thing. And just being able to work on the things that we needed to work on to grow ourselves as people, as human beings, our mindset, to being able to lead a team, to lead people with so many different personalities. It's like I feel like in network marketing, the biggest thing is you have to work on yourself. You have to, because you cannot lead a team of people, of individuals, of personalities, and even lead yourself to be that person, that leader that's leading by example, if you don't grow within yourself. So
and it's funny, backtracking to what you said about like only network marketers know about this difference of energy, and it's like almost like in the Matrix, like the red pill and like the blue pill. Like it's literally that. Like, you see a completely different version of life. There's times that I'm walking around and I'll have a conversation and I'll look at her and I'll be like, babe, did that come off too strong? Did I speak this a certain way? Did I say something that might have been misconstrued or misunderstood? And it's like, it almost just gives you a brand new level of self-awareness, so that you can work on some things rather than just being busy with the hustle and bustle of normal life. I think so many people in just the real world in general are like so stuck on their routines and life and work and kids, and they're just getting through the day that they don't even realize what they're doing throughout the day as a person to attract the good or the bad. So they're just having life is happening to them, not for them.
Yeah, like that self-development or that purpose, or why would you read a book on growing and scaling or strengthening your mindset if it doesn't relate to what you're doing on a daily basis? And I think a lot of times when you do get in that industry, all of a sudden your whole network starts to change. Like your community shifts, the friends that you're with now shift, the people that you want to associate yourself with. They always say power is proximity, but it's also you are, who that circle is that you hang around with. And I think a lot of network marketers, they end up starting to attract others, and they want to just be around other leaders, and you get with friends who just aren't on the same board or same page as you, and it's so hard to connect with them and have those conversations that it almost feels like it's forced now. It's it's kind of do you guys kind of get that? Like, especially being in a couple, like if you get with other couples and they're just like not in that same page, you're just like, I don't know if I like relate anymore.
I mean, there's like both of us have kind of let go of a lot of people in our past.
Like 90% of probably our past friendships.
Yeah, because now, I mean, we're so focused on like that, those like growth conversations, you know, you get around people with especially for us, like when we go to our events, it's like you're around people with different energies, such a higher level mindset. It's just like more vision, more ambition. It's like you want to be around those people.
And it's even the conversations, man. Like I know, and this is no knock on anybody, right? Like on anybody, but the reality is the normal conversation is complaining. The normal conversation is, man, my wife, man, my kids, man, my job, man, this, and it's always something that they're complaining about, looking for like support, some therapeutic conversation. But there's not somebody who, I mean, at least I didn't find it till network marketing that you start complaining, because it's natural, right? Negative is normal, positive is on purpose. But I mean, if you're negative, your friend, specifically this happens in network marketing, be like, hey, you got 5 seconds. I remember hearing something from one of the leaders in our company. They said, my ears are not garbage cans. Stop throwing it away on me, right? And it's like, I don't need that, because what I hear affects me, and I don't need to be around that. And if I'm going to continue to be around that, then I don't need to be around you. And that's just the reality. I don't want to be around complaining. And in network marketing, you really find that space. But yeah, we definitely, I wouldn't say on purpose cut off so many people, because we really didn't do that. I would say just the natural separation of life. Like people kind of float away by the wayside.
And you kind of grow. It's like you grow out of those relationships.
What is that saying that I don't remember who said it. There's like, oh, you grow out of the kindergarten chairs.
Jim Rohn. Yeah, he said, yeah, that's why they make kindergartners chairs so small, so we can't stay there forever.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. It's true. That's kind of how it is. You know, you just have that whole different, you know, mindset of who do I want to hang around with, and the conversations that I want to have. I remember just personally, before I was growing a business and working in this industry, having my first son, all I wanted to do is have like play dates, you know, hang out with other moms. And now I think after having my second, and I was like in the middle of just really scaling and growing, there was no play dates for my daughter. I'm like, I don't even know where the last 4 years went. You know, like, wait, what? You're a toddler? Thank God I have 30,000 pictures on my phone. But I think back, and to me, I'm just like, oh my God, like what a waste of time. I used to just sit there and have all these little play dates with like my mom friends, and I could have been doing so much more. But the reality is 99% of people, they don't know any different. That's just what they do. And they book the next play date, you know, and that play date. And that's what they're looking more forward to. And you get in this industry and you get in this space, and there's just so much more to life and to growing and proving to yourself, like, wow, I thought I was good now, but like, look at me 6 months later, like, wow, holy shit. Like did I do that? Like you said, I mean, I'm speaking now and I'm getting in front of audiences, and it pulls you out of your shell. I think there's no better industry in the world. I don't care if you went to school for 20, 15 years and you're a brain surgeon. I mean, obviously we need them in our life too, but you know, it's just what you're doing now and pushing together. It's just a whole different force of energy and what you can do to become that best version of yourselves. But on top of what you're doing in the network marketing space, your whole page, I mean, you guys have like these wicked bodies, and you're like, you run a restaurant or store. What else is going on here that's pulling it all together? And how do you guys stick together and not want to kill each other half the time because you're doing all these different things?
Well, there's nobody saying that we don't want to kill each other half the time, but it's working with your spouse is not always easy.
No.
And we get to get better each and every single day. We have not 100% figured it out, because we had it pretty figured out when it was just social media, I would say. And then the moment we threw our healthy cafes into the mix, it's a completely different, it's still network marketing. It's a tool within our business in order to grow our network marketing business, but it's so different because it's in person, it's scheduling. There's so many different aspects of it. I mean, who knew I would have been ordering inventory and keeping check of supplies and have to go somewhere or get to go somewhere a few times a week or 7 days a week sometimes, and wake up early again. It was almost like having a job at some point. But it's the sacrifices we make to build a better, sustainable business.
A lot of people
like balance for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of couples, like I remember, it's just crazy because sometimes we look at each other and we're like, these are the days that we prayed for, you know, because in the beginning, I saw him, you know, when we first started dating, I saw him at like 11 o'clock at night, and I would see him for a few hours before I had to go to bed and wake up early for work the next day.
And I would FaceTime her from the beach.
Yeah. The worst.
That's how, if you want a pro tip on how to get your spouse while they're at work, just FaceTime them consistently from the pool, from the beach, from things that they love. And then they're just going to
work in here, me.
Yeah. You can be here. That's it.
So we went seeing each other for like an hour every single day or every other day to literally having this life together, right? A lot of people, they work one job, the spouse, the wife works the other job, and it's just like two different lives, and you come together in a household. But for us, it's literally like, it's spending every single moment together with life, with business. So it's challenging. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's all sunshines and rainbows every single day. Till today, I want to kill him, you know.
And I'll tell you what, and again, this is for some couples out there that might run into something like this, but for me and what we've found, I told this the other day, I'm like, being around me is going to be uncomfortable a lot of times.
Yeah.
Not as a couple, we are great, but in business, it's going to be uncomfortable because I'm going to try to help you grow as much as I possibly can because I want you to do the same. There'll be times where she's unorganized. I'm like, babe, it's time to get organized. Let's sit down and get you organized. What does it take? What do we need to order so that you can be perfect? Sometimes
you don't want to hear it from your spouse. It's like, if you have a mentor and they tell you something, then you're all ears. But then hearing it from somebody else, you feel like you just like block it out, right? It's just block it out. You get defensive.
And she knows it's right. She just wants to argue for no reason, and that's part of it, guys. So you got to understand, you got to take the good with bad, right?
Yeah.
So it's having the conversation prior. Like, listen, do you mind if I give you some coaching? Hey, I'm going to give you some feedback. This is what I would suggest because I'm with you every day. Kind of like what I said earlier. Your spouse is with you every single day of every single moment of every single hour, really. So they know what you're doing and what you're not doing and what you should be doing, especially, and I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, I don't remember, but she actually signed up with me as a client first. Then she signed up as a business partner. And it wasn't until we were dating for about 9 months that we put our IDs together and we started building the business together. So she was building her own independent business and retired herself by herself.
Oh yeah, you missed that. That's a big part. And then
so
how does that work? You still get the downline together?
Right. So the moment that we joined IDs, then all her downline just rolled up to us. Right. So she was building the business by herself. And then we joined at a certain point. I was at a higher level. I was in 2 years more than she was. Right. I had already reached the top by myself. And single guys, if you're listening, shout out to you guys because you can do it without a woman or without a partner.
This is big because I think the network marketing space is so focused on women. Like unless you're getting into like the wellness side of things, but even Q Sciences, I mean, it's wellness, but for the majority, I see a lot of women. So yes, shout out to the men and what they can do in this space and how it can impact them.
100%. And what I've learned, and honestly, I love it because I'm so grateful that I was an athlete. As an athlete, I believe that maybe I'm a little biased because I am an athlete, but I believe that there's we have a advantage in business because we already have a lot of the skills that many people don't have or need to acquire when they start, like leadership, communication, teamwork, self-development, like putting in the hours and the work ethic. A lot of people don't have that until network marketing, whereas an athlete, I had that coming in. I just needed the right tool, or the right vehicle to direct all of that. And then I grew pretty quickly. I reached career level income within 8 months. I was already making a great income in over a year. I hit one of the top, levels in the company. And then when we started dating, it just kind of even elevated us even more. And now we had the aspect of the women and couples, and it just completely shifted our demographic of people that we were helping. And I know that network marketing is like 89% or 90% women. Fellas, we got to get on it because the guys, there's a disadvantage that guys have, I believe, in business. And if we take advantage of that, man, like network marketing can double in size.
Yeah, but I also think one of the things, like even for working as a couple, is kind of like delegating and staying like in your lane, because a lot of the times that I can tell you guys, like doing this business in the beginning by myself,
stay in your lane,
doing this business
stay in your lane
myself in the beginning, and then joining IDs, it was a challenge because, like he said, he had been doing this business 2 years ahead of me. So when I jumped into the ID with him, he was always like very micromanaging, and it was constantly bringing up fights because it makes this spouse feel as if what they're doing is not enough or not as good. So something that we had to learn, and I had to tell him, I was like, look, I know you've been doing this for 2 years, but now we're one. So we're at an equal. Like, no matter what has happened in the past, I can learn from you, you can learn from me. But like, you're good at this, I'm good at this. Let's work on that. And not try to step on each other's toes. Because in the beginning, every time I would do something, he was like checking over my work.
I'll even like delete the post and repost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a spouse like that.
Yeah. It was not easy. Yeah, it was not easy in the beginning, but I feel like ever since we learned, like you have certain strengths and I have certain strengths, and then we can work on that, and then other things come together. But it's not about like stepping on each other's toes and kind of like micromanaging or looking over each other's work. Like when he wants to post, sometimes I let him do it freely because I know he's doing it. If I want to do something, he lets me do it freely because he knows I'm going to do it well, you know.
Right.
So
did you guys find that you've kind of found almost like your own little paths when it comes to building the business? Like one focuses more on team building and mentoring and providing, you know, that type, where the other might be more focused on getting the products out there and talking more about the product side of things and kind of finding your niche that way?
100%. So, I mean, it's all about systems. And I think in social, in network marketing, it's all about systems. And what we found that our system works is she's all about the content. Like she's the one putting out, I'd say 90% of the content. I'll be more like content creation ideas. Like I'll be like this reel looks good, or this post looks great, or I love this type of caption. Why don't we have this type of intention? She'll fulfill it. It looks fantastic. She puts it out there completely, like does amazing. And then when we start generating leads, you're having conversations with both of us. And then at that point, as soon as we sign somebody up, as soon as we get somebody started, once a prospect becomes either a client or a distributor, at that point, she completely handles it, right? So she's working out the follow-up with customers, like clients, and then I'm working out with the business builders, the team, and stuff like that. So as soon as those people want to be able to have, you know, build a business, at that point, then they come to me on the distributor side. But we've had
your own little system in place that seems to, and it probably keeps a lot of the resistance away and eliminate a lot of those unnecessary arguments and stress and whatnot that can happen if you're overstepping each other and whatnot. I think you guys have such an advantage over so many couples in relationships because you are not just working together, but working in that sort of space together because you're growing together, you know, your mindset's growing together and all of those things. You know, what can we kind of give for some advice to viewers that are listening that are thinking, you know, is this the right fit for me, and how they could maybe get their spouse to even join in, as maybe in the beginning, it's not to replace income, because a lot of people in these stages of their life, they've already built a career. But what about if they were to join something like this, almost like as a hobby, just to make that connection, to bring, you know, their relationship tighter together? Because you're right when you're saying, you know, a lot of people, you know, he goes to his job 8 to 4, she goes 9 to 5. They live these separate lives and they come in together and have dinner together and, you know, and have an hour to watch the news and they hit the bed. But how about bringing themselves together in the relationship through network marketing and actually joining? Because I mean, you guys are in health and wellness and fitness, so you're using this as a stepping stone to also work on your inner selves and be fit, and it's a whole lifestyle change. What would you kind of say to somebody like that of using it to that sense?
I mean, there's a multitude of answers, right? So first, I think you really got to have your reasons clear of why you're doing network marketing, or why you would even want to do something extra. We hear all the time, and parents tell us, you know, I want to do this for my kids. Okay, I say, what part? What about your kids? I want to be with them more. I said, are you sure? Most parents want to be full-time parents, but they don't understand what it is to be with your kids 24/7 all day long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. I can only imagine, right? So be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. So make sure your reasons are clear. And then secondly, I would say, you know, there's so many divorces that happen in the United States, and it's over a lack of $500 in a household, because the financial tension is just too much. It creates different questions or different doubts or different arguments, and it just starts building a separation in couples. So if you're looking to jump into the network marketing space, I would say the question really has to be, why do I want to do this? Is it going to be worth my time? And am I going to be consistent with it to be able to see the results? Because this is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a business. It has ebbs and has flows, ups and downs, and things can happen. There's challenges. You know, but I think if you have the right reasons and you're willing to stay consistent long enough to see the results, then I'd say jump all in. But there's nobody who can tell me, no matter how much money you make, you could be an 8-figure earner, 9-figure earner, and that person's going to say, no, I'm good. I don't want any more money. It's not true. Everybody can take an extra $500, $1,000 into their household, because why not? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Especially if it takes, let's say, an hour or 2 a day. Like you go to the bathroom 5 times, let's say, at 5 minutes, you're talking about 25 minutes. You could have posted on social media 1 or 2 times. You could have done a few different stories about your business with a call to action. You could have done some follow-up. You could have done a few things just in the restroom that could build your business.
Yeah.
But the reality is, and kind of like her mentality was at the beginning, it's my Saturdays are sacred. I want rest. Well, people say, you know what? I just want to go home at 4 or 5 and say, I just want to eat. I want to sit on the couch and just vegetate there and watch a movie and pass out, fall asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
And then that's their thing. But they don't realize
they don't know any different, right? And they don't know what else it could be. I remember loving to watch Netflix and like, what else can I watch? When's the next season? I think it's been 3 years since I've put on an episode. I mean, maybe I'm missing out on some reality TV, but I don't have time for it.
I'll tell you, when we first started our business, or when we moved to the beach at that point, I remember we didn't have it, like our TV, we had it, but I didn't have AT&T. We didn't have any internet. We didn't have any smart TVs. We had nothing. We weren't watching TV. We didn't watch it for about 2 years. And we had our goal board and our vision board next to the TV in our living room,
which I
right where we would work.
I was not happy about it. In the beginning, I was just like, why? Like, let's put it in an office or like somewhere we can hide it, or somewhere like that's not messing up the decor.
And I told
them, like,
we need it in our face every single day, because if we're in grind mode, we're in grind mode. And we need this constant reminder.
Yeah.
Every single day we wake up, we see it. Every time you sit on the couch, you see it. Every time you were eating, you see it. And you need that constant reminder of the reasons, because if not, I feel like your brain wants to go back into what's comfortable, which is the normal stuff. Let me go to the gym. Let me work out. Let me hang out with the family. Let me go hang out with some friends. Let me go on some play dates. And all of a sudden time passed. It's 2 years later and you've accomplished nothing else other than what you did in the past.
Yeah. And something that I always tell my team is like, or other people, is I always say like network marketing is for everybody, but not everyone is for network marketing, because it's like they don't, it's when I told myself that I wanted to go full time. And I remember the day that I went full time, it's like, I feel like it's even harder now to employ yourself and to literally like wake up as if you have a job, because in network marketing and in any company, really, when you're working for yourself, I think the blessing is that you're working for yourself. And then on the flip side, the hardest part is that you're working for yourself. So it's like pro and con to working for yourself, because even right now, one of my girls just went full time in the business, and she came here. She's like, oh my God, I have so much time. And I was like, hold on, hone down, and like work, like make sure you have like a list of things that you need to do as if you were going to a job, right? As if you were going into a place, like you have your duties that you need to fulfill, because like he said, time can go by, like the day can go by, and by the time you hit the pillow, it's like, what have I accomplished today, right? So I think going even back to what you were saying before, as far as like spouses, there's a lot of people that maybe the spouse doesn't want to do this business or doesn't want to get into network marketing full time. But I feel like the biggest thing into a happy, healthy relationship when it comes to one person doing network marketing and one person not doing it is just that support, right? I had one of my girls, the same one that just went full time. Her husband works a full-time job, but in the beginning, she told him, she's like, you know what? I love you. And this is what I want to do. And if you're on board, great. And if you're not on board, then this might not work. And mind you, they have a kid together. They are married. Like they have a life together. And he was like, okay. Because he said, okay. Like it wasn't until she got so stern with him that he was like, fine. Mind you, he still works a full-time job. But now guess what happened? As soon as she put her foot down and started doing this business, like seriously, and bringing in that income and showing what's possible to her husband, now guess what? Now her husband has supported her and bring her so many clients from work. So now not only her husband does not do this business at all, he's not on the calls or anything, but he's like, hey, by the way, I have this girl who wanted the products, who wants to lose weight.
He's brought her over 20 customers.
Yeah.
Just out of referral.
That's the best way. That's the spouse that you want. It's, you don't need to work it with me, but like support me. Talk about it to your friends. You have a whole different network than I do. Your following's different, you know, just be that extra support person.
At the end of the 100%. Day, it doesn't like, even if I were not to do this business full time, this is not something that I wanted right away. It's like, you never know what long-term can bring you. Because at the end of the day, fellas, you're all about seeing the dollar signs, right? So imagine like even her right now working this business, like what happens if she starts bringing home $5,000 or a $10,000 check comes up? The spouse is kind of like, you might not really want to do it in the beginning, but you see that $10,000 check and you're working your butt and you're busting your ass every single night going to work. It's like your brain kind of just makes a switch, right? And it's not to say there's anything wrong with someone going into network marketing for the money. There's a lot of people that want to do it for like the time freedom or certain things, but a lot of people start because they see that income coming in, right? So
yeah, for sure.
I think it's just all about the support, and then who knows what the future holds, right?
And going back to your original question, right? Like why should somebody start this? Guys, honestly, it's the best shot at a regular person having an extraordinary life with no background. we didn't even mention this in our story. Another thing we forgot, because again, there's so many things that we can mention in our story. We both dropped out of college
with one class left.
With one.
Well, she retired. She retired.
Well,
she retired. And this is the same decision we both made. She's like, listen, I'm making more than I would with the degree that I'm seeking. So why would I pay for more education when I'm just going to waste money to have the same? And I was doing the same thing. I was studying physical therapy, or it was strength and conditioning that time, and it was going to be physical therapy school. But I was making $4,000 or $5,000 a month at the time with just starting. I was like, if I'm doing this, I'm definitely going to surpass that. I don't need to think about that. I don't need to pay the extra 3, 6, 9,000, whatever it is to finish a semester. I'm out. I'm done. And I made the decision that day, and we went full time. And I went, we're different. Our story is different. I started because I felt good immediately, but I started the business the same day, and I went full time the same day. Like day one was my day one for everything.
All in. Yeah.
I just went all in. I don't believe going half in, half out. I think if you still have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, it's because you're looking for a backdoor at plan B. You're a little nervous. You're not fully committed yet. She wanted to believe in the product. She wanted to get results. She started, and I think it took 9 months, you said, 9 months to go full time, but it took her 30 days to start the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she had great results on the products within the first 30 days. And that's what really led to that belief to even go to that event and feel good. And you know,
and I think it also comes down with the product. You mentioned you had, 2 unsuccessful network marketing journeys prior to this. And I get a lot of those conversations too, where some of them have joined 7, 8, 9 different network marketing companies. Why would I join one more? So there's that aspect of people. And then there's the people who just don't believe in it at all and think it's a pyramid scheme. So there's so much kind of doubtfulness just in the very beginning before somebody actually joins, that you're kind of like, your expectations are so minimal and so low in the beginning until you get your feet wet. You fall in love with the product is huge. And I always tell people, number one, a lot of leaders will lead with the business, which is great. Obviously that's where most of the compensation plan holds itself. But if you're not passionate and excited about your product, find a company that you are obsessed with the products, because it'll just come off so much more naturally. You'll be excited to talk about it. You're not excited to talk about a wellness product if you love just hanging out and eating McDonald's every day, and that's not your goal, and you hate the gym. Why would you get into something that's wellness and you're trying to push that on people? Find something else that works for you. So I think definitely, you finding that passion and loving the product, it just comes naturally to be like, my friends need this, like my network needs this. I need to share it more. Like, oh my God, it can change your life. And then all of a sudden you're working the business, you're crushing the business. Where do you guys see yourself 5 years from now in your business, growing your business? You're growing kind of multiple businesses here together. What's going on here with Benji and George in the next few years?
Man, so, for us, we have a lot planned. Business, personal, right? So I'm not bringing it up because then I'm just going to hear it over and over. But building a family together, building a life together. We want to be at the point.
Looking excited. Wait till you throw kids in the mix of this. You think it's chaos now with your dog coming in and out of the door? It's going to be a shit show.
Listen, George.
I would have had kids 10 years ago if it wasn't for her calming me down.
George would throw anything into this mix. He doesn't get enough until we're like literally.
Recently, we were so exhausted with everything going on, and we've seen our network marketing business doing fantastic, and then we threw in the cafes, which is still part of it, but it's more in-person things. And then I was like, babe, I think she should get a puppy. We got a puppy.
Yeah.
Absolutely bananas. She's waking us up every 2 hours.
Made it
so much worse.
Right now, we're like, those ducks, like we're surface on top. We're like
relaxed anxiety,
and then my feet are like I feel like I'm running at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I feel like life is so crazy. But like I said before, it's like I remember when we were living at the beach, we would always ask ourselves, like, man, like we were doing the business and we were hustling and grinding, and I'm like, we have no business calls, we have no team really. Like we would go to the gym, get home in our condo, and just sit there. And I was just like, man, like I feel almost like we felt like we wanted to go out and do more, right? We were like sitting at the house, just working on Instagram, and it was just like days would go by, and it was just that. And now here we are, 2 years, almost like 3 years later. It's like,
careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Literally like it's like an avalanche.
It's funny because when you make a decision, and we always talk about it, when you make a decision, the universe will get out of your way.
Yeah.
And sometimes in abundance, right?
Yeah.
So when we decided, we're going to open a cafe here in Miami, we opened one. The moment we decided, all right, cool, we're going to sign the lease, we're going to open one, we got another opportunity that seemed great. I was like, all right, cool, let's open another one. Open 2 at the same time. Then somebody else was like, hey, why don't we do this? I said, all right, cool, let's open another one. Open 3 at the same time.
We had literally 3 grand openings, like It was one
Saturday, the next Saturday, the next Saturday.
Back to back.
And they're all in Miami?
All in Miami.
That is awesome.
And it was just nuts. And again, I like to do this. I think I can take on the world, and we're not going to stress.
Yeah. He even wanted to work at one at the beach, like open one, and I was like, enough.
I was driving 15 minutes to the beach. Man, life is crazy. But you know what? I believe if you want to get anything in life, you got to work for it, and you got to go all in. You got to take a chance. And who better to take a chance on than you? And so 5 years, yeah.
And I feel even when you do take those, like I'm somebody that I'm very much, let's think before we do. George is very yes to any great opportunity, but I feel like there's great in both, right? Because in the experiences that we've just jumped in, we've had great experiences. We've also had lessons in this whole journey. The bumps in the road, the challenges that we had have all been lessons where we get to sit back and it's like, holy, like this, so much has happened, but like, where can we find like the lessons, the learning curves, the growth opportunities from it? So, I mean, it feels like a lot of the growth in our business has happened within the last like 2 years. In 2 years, I swear to you, it's been such a boom that things have been happening and great opportunities have been happening, but one after the other. And I also feel like it's because we've worked so hard. Like we've planted so many seeds in the beginning, when we were living at the beach, it was like working so hard. And I always tell my team, it's like, sometimes you're working, but you're not seeing it yet, but just wait, just keep your boat in the water, right? Keep your boat in the water, because things especially in network marketing, you might have people that you hear that have a huge story and it happened in 1 year and it's so fast. But the majority of people in network marketing, it's like building that momentum. And then when it finally happens and you've worked so hard and you just kept going and you keep your boat in the water, it's like, all of a sudden, it's just like all the seeds that you've planted, like here they are, right? Yeah. So
backtrack.
Yes,
This happens to us all the time, right? So I'd say 5 years. I think in 5 years, I'm looking forward to having our home, a couple investment properties. We're looking forward to making 6 figures plus, multiple 6 figures plus per month. Our goal by the end of this year is to have, I'd say, 7 to 10 of these cafes within the network marketing industry and in Herbalife nutrition. Because what's cool is, Herbalife basically launched this new model where we're almost having like a healthy Starbucks, essentially. That's what I would call it. And so people come by, they try a shake, they try a tea, they do some amazing things. We're building communities in each of these hubs, and we're just impacting the community one shop, one block at a time. So our goal is to have 10 this year. So, man, I would say in 5 years, I would love to have 100 in our organization, worldwide, and just to really get to the point where we have developed such freedom for ourselves, but to the point that our future generations don't even have to worry. Our parents are fully retired, living the lives that they deserve. My parents, and just living life fully on our terms. And I think we're there, but it's only personal right now. Yeah. When I can say, Mom, this is it. Dad, you're done. Mom, you're done. And this is what we're doing.
That's the next level.
That's just another piece. And I can relate it to one moment. We were on a fully paid vacation with our company, Dominican Republic. I'll never forget. It was the first trip that we qualified for together. And we took my parents with us. We were sitting in the pool, Punta Cana. I'll never forget it, at the Hard Rock. We're sitting there. I'm on the lawn chair in the water. Benji's sitting, on the little ledge. My parents are in the water, just looking out. And I was like, this is exactly why it's all worth it. It doesn't matter what else I have to go through, because I get to grow through it to make sure that these things happen on a consistent basis for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and it's not just a one-off. I think you guys have reached like an amazing, incredible peak in your business and probably in your relationships as well, just in the last 2 years. And what I've seen, even personally, when it comes to growing, getting to that next level in your business, all of a sudden you think that you've like reached it and you're like, yeah, like I've gotten to these goals that I've had for myself for so long. And I'm here, I'm so blessed. I've opened not just one, but I've opened 3, 4, 5 shops. Then you'll find yourself, at least that's what's happened with me personally, you'll find yourself at this spot where all of a sudden all these new things start to happen to you, and it's almost like new problems, new anxieties, new tension, new like, oh my God, why am I so scared? Why am I, you're fighting? And it's like, why am I fighting? And it's almost like, why are things so stressful and so crazy? They were so good. And it's like, it's the universe's way to break you through to that next level. They throw all this stuff at you. I almost threw my mic. And to say, can you handle this, because if you can handle all of this, I'm about to open a new door for you and allow you to reach that next level. And it's something that, like, if you're not in that space, whether it's network marketing or just entrepreneurship alone, you just never get to have or feel. It's not the same as getting a promotion. It's not the same as getting a year-end bonus. It's not the same as getting, like, you earned an extra week vacation. There's no better, more gratifying way to have, like, the universe open those doors and say, you've done it, you reached 10,000 a month, 20,000, you want the next level, you go through all these hoops, and I'm going to give it to you, and now show up for more. And you think you're like an amazing, incredible rock star now. What are you in 6 months from now, or 5 years?
We just talked about this literally yesterday, the night before, because we felt like it was like so many things were happening. Like, listen, for us, right? Never to us, for us. But in the last 2 weeks, when I tell you, it's been like one test after the other, to the point where I looked at George and I'm like, because listen, the reality is, no matter how much money you're making or how successful you are, you still have those breaking moments, right? You can still have those moments of like, damn it, like, am I doing this right? Am I doing enough? Like, is this really worth it? There's sometimes, like, we're all human. We have those moments and we go through those challenges, no matter how successful you are. And literally he looked at me and he said, I feel like this is
we're finishing the peak.
Yeah.
Like we're really about to level off and sustain what we've been able to build for so long. And what we've been fighting for, we've been working for, we've been dreaming of. So again, back to what I said, right? So be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And I definitely feel like we're there, and it's been a blessing. But
and it's a universe testing you to see, like, if you want it as bad as you say you want it. Because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people that, go into this network marketing, and when times get tough, when shit hits the fan, it's like, okay, I stopped because this happened, or I gave up on the network marketing because my life was the X, Y, and Z. And it's like, for us, no matter what has happened, no matter what challenges have come upon us, it's like, this is going to be it no matter what. Because at the end of the day, money doesn't solve everything, but money gives you options. And sometimes a lot of people find themselves in the rut that they're in due to lack of income or lack of being able to have different decisions or make different decisions, right? So I always tell people, like, no matter what happened, it's like, why would you give up on the one thing that could possibly make your life better, or that can possibly give you more freedom and more options in the long run? So it definitely hasn't been easy. But
I think when you face a challenge, specifically in network marketing, or when you make a decision, we tell our team, if I handed you my organization, could you handle it? If not, then that's why you're not there yet. And that's fine, because we get to grow and continue to build ourselves. But I think also when you make a decision in your life in general, but I mean, we're talking about network marketing, when you make a decision that you're excited about, the universe is going to kind of dangle a carrot in front of you to see if you truly want it. All right, I'm going to go put in my 2 weeks. All of a sudden you go to the job to hand in the 2 weeks, and they're like, but I'm going to give you a raise. Do I still put in the 2 weeks, or do I take the bait and give up and really essentially take the bribe to forget about my dream, to forget about the vision I was just planning on starting? And that happens so often. And it's just the universe trying to see, like you said, how bad do you really want what you say you want? Or is it just whatever? Is it just another thing that you're going to let go because this is kind of the identity you've built throughout the past?
Right.
Yeah. This has been an awesome conversation, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on this show. I mean, I love the fact that you're a couple doing this together. You didn't start out doing it together, but you guys pulled together, and you're truly a powerhouse couple in what you're building. I have no doubt, just by the way you guys talk, yes, take some boomerangs, take some conversations, tag me. And, I have no doubt when you say 100 plus of these cafes worldwide, like, they will be. I've talked to enough leaders in this business to know when somebody has it or not by the way they act, by the way they talk, by what comes out of their mouth, by the way they hold themselves. And I have no doubt, and that's been over 6 years of doing that. And I've talked to some pretty badass people. I mean, truly. And you guys are no word of a lie. You will be there. You're like a force to be reckoned with. You can lead a team. I see that you've already got 1,000 plus in your organization and growing, and just don't slow down. And if a baby pops out, don't let that slow you down either. You just get help and you keep on going. I've done it. I've built my business, my empire through COVID, through 2 children, through no family support, through losses, through so much, through grief, through fights, through everything. And I always tell my husband, we tell each other every single day, it makes you stronger. It makes you reach the top. You're telling God or the universe or whoever it is that you believe in that you're meant to do this, and just give me more, give me more to do. And I'm going to show up for everybody and for my family. And that's what you guys are doing. So where can our audience find you? Where can they find you on social media? I'm going to share it in the posts and stuff as well. But if you guys want to let them know, where can they reach out to you? Especially if you're in Miami, where can they hit you up at one of your cafes?
Absolutely. So our personal Instagram, what we run our business through, is at blessed_fit couple. We've had that account for a very long time. Through there, if you want to follow our personal journeys, we're my fitness journey, her fitness journey, we kind of share separately. We run 3 different accounts together. So we give
That's a full-time job in itself.
the individual perspective, then we have our couple perspective, and then we have our cafes in Miami. We have 2 specifically that we're really focused on, which is Imagine Nutrition, and then we have Self-Flow Nutrition as well. Kendall and West Kendall, if you're in the Miami area, you'll know. But just looking forward to connecting with you guys. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, whatever it is, we're here to support. Though we're in Herbalife, though we're in a network marketing space, I think everything that we've built personally and in business can apply to anything. So if you just need some help, some advice, some mentorship, we're here to support, and hope that this has brought some value to you. And we appreciate you for having us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys. This has been awesome. Until next time, this is your host, Amber, on the Behind Her Boom podcast, changing it up to Behind the Boom since we're introducing the male factor in this industry. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time. Bye.